Hello friendos, it's Bella from the Bookish Badger, and today I'm coming at you guys with a 2019 Reading Rush TBR. Now I know it's been a hot second since I have posted, but that is why I would like to participate in more readathons in this second half of the year, because there's nothing like a readathon TBR to get me off of my butt and filming, because I know that those are time sensitive, and then once I'm filming one of those, it's like, why don't I batch film? So it will help me put out more videos, and it'll help me read more, because your girl is way behind on her reading goal this year, which is why, as you'll see, I am intending to read 7 books for the 7 challenges for the 7 days of Reading Rush. So without further ado, let's get this party started and I will show you what books I'm intending to read. The first challenge is to read a book with purple on the cover, and I love that they add these color challenges every year because everybody has some book on their TBR that has purple or green or red or whatever the challenge is that year. And the book that I'm going to be picking this year is The Two Princesses of Bamar by Gail Carson Levine. Now, a lot of you may know that Ella Enchanted, which is another book by this author, is one of the books that helped me get into reading, period. And I read that when I was 11. And I also read maybe 2 or 3 other books by her, and for some reason, none of them were The Two Princesses of Bamar. So after all these years of intending to get to it, I am finally going to try to read it during the reading rush. The second prompt is to read a book in the same spot the entire time, and I know the rules are that you can like go to the spot and then come back another day or whatever, like you can break it up, but I would rather read it all in one shot. And your girl is a slow reader, so I did pick a book on the shorter side for this one, and that is Art Matters by Neil Gaiman, illustrated by Chris Riddell. Now, this is basically a speech. It's got one main speech, but it's like a collection of a few speeches and essays, if I'm not mistaken, all of which I listened to technically in A View from the Cheap Seats, which is Neil Gaiman's nonfiction book that has speeches and essays and such and so forth, but I haven't read it in this format yet, and when I listened to it, it meant a lot to me. It really, it hit me, so I wanted to revisit it, and what better week than the reading rush. The third prompt is to read a book that you intended to read last year, and the book I'm going to go with for that one is Midnight Star by Marie Lu, which is going to be the 3rd book in the Young Elite series. Now, one of my main reading goals for last year was to finish all of the series that I was in the middle of, and I finished pretty much none of the series that I was in the middle of, but one of those series I was in the middle of was the Young Elites trilogy, because I had read the 1st and 2nd and just not the 3rd yet for some reason. So this one I'm going to be audiobooking throughout the week, and I will finally be able to say that I am done with this series. The 4th prompt is to read an author's first book that they ever released, and for that one I'm going to be visiting one of my 2 favorite authors of all time, and that is Maggie Stiefvater by Reading Shiver. And I know this is the 3rd, I think, book in the series, but for some reason I own the 2nd and 3rd one and not the 1st one. Listen, I picked them up at library sales thinking that both of them were the 1st one in the series. Never mind, let's not talk about it. So I'm going to be listening to Shiver on audiobook, and I'm so excited to be reading some more of Maggie Stiefvater's work because I've been wanting to ever since I read The Raven Cycle, so I'm big pumped for this one. Prompt number 5 is to read a book with a non-human main character, and for that one I'm going to go with the graphic novel Teen Titans Raven by Kami Garcia and illustrated by Gabriel Piccolo. A funny story about this one, I sat down to film this and I had written out my TBR before this, and then I was looking it over again and I realized that I forgot to fill in this prompt because at the time that I was writing it I couldn't think of one. So I sat down and I was like frantically searching through my Goodreads list, and Q was standing next to me and he was like, "Oh, I see you have Raven on there. What about that one?" I was like, "Oh no, is she human? Is she not? I don't know, let's see." And it turns out she is half Azarathian and half demon. So we got ourselves a non-human Thank the Holy Lord above. Prompt number 6 is to read a book with 5 or more words in the title, and for that one I am going to go with In Conclusion, Don't Worry About It by Lauren Graham. Now this was a commencement speech she gave actually, and my parents got it for me as a graduation gift because they thought it would be, you know, nice and inspiring, and I'm really excited to read it because I need nice and inspiring things right now. And finally, prompt number 7 is to read a book and watch its movie adaptation, and for this one I am going to go with The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe by C.S. Lewis. Now here's the thing about this one. It is apparently very hotly contested whether you should start this series with The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, which was the first published in the series, or if you should start it with The Magician's Nephew, which was, according to C.S. Lewis, the one you were supposed to start with. So I put it out to Twitter in a poll, and I asked, you know, which one or the other, and I expected it to get like 20 votes tops, like most of my polls do, and it got like 150 votes, which I was super not expecting. And The Magician's Nephew actually won the poll. I think it was like 58% Magician's Nephew and 42% The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. But the thing about it is that I also asked you guys to sort of give reasoning or an argument for one or the other, and the people coming out for The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe like came in strong, and I felt their arguments more than the people who were arguing for Magician's Nephew. Like, their reasoning made more sense to me, and it made me want to read The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe first more. So that's why I'm gonna go with this one, and it ended up working out perfectly because now I can watch the movie with it and, you know, use it for a Reading Rush prompt. So it's all well and good. So there you have it. That is my 2019 Reading Rush TBR. I am so excited to be doing this readathon again because I had so much fun with it last year, and it seems like it's really pumped up this year, you know, with the website, with the badges, all that jazz. So I'm so excited because it's such a community event. I feel like all of BookTube comes together to do this readathon, and it's so good, so wholesome, so pure. I would love to hear from you guys what y'all think about my TBR, if you've read any of the books on it, if you haven't, if you want to, if you liked them, if you did read them, if you didn't like them, if you read them, any of it, all of it, please leave it in a comment down below. If you enjoyed this video, do not hesitate to give it a thumbs up, do not hesitate to subscribe for more content coming soon, and I will see you in the next video. Bookish Badger, signing off.